Inside the Arena is presented by Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, Seattle's closest sportsbook.
Welcome to Inside the Arena, your source for everything off the ice, off the court, and outside the field of play. With your hosts, KOMO Sports Director Niko and KOMO Senior Reporter Chris Daniels.
Guess who's back? Back again. Niko and Chris are back. Tell a friend.
Yeah. Great to have you back here, man.
It's great to be back with you. Are you warming up? Are you warming up your arm?
Well, yeah. No, but I should be.
Are you stretching properly?
No, definitely not.
That's how people get injured when they play in celebrity softball games.
Which I'm thrilled about, but you're going to see me on next week's episode. There's no wood in here, but somewhere I'm going to knock, and hopefully I don't have like an ankle brace or an elbow brace or a something brace on. It's just one of those things.
Well, we're going to talk a lot about the all-star celebrity softball game that Niko will be starring in. Hey, now you're an all-star. Get your game on. Go play. I wonder if they're going to be playing that song at Cheney Stadium on the 12th when you are there. We are recording this in advance, of course.
Yes.
But you're going to be stretching. You're going to be warming up. You'll be throwing the ball around, and we're going to be talking with Drew Dambreville, our good friend of the show.
Yes. Drew and Carrie doing a great job with this. Shout out to Jamie Quick as well. It's a really great thing. But yes, talking with Drew and Carrie, and it's one of those things where, this is a great event. It's hosted by Jaxon Smith-Njigba. It's really a who's who of a lot of Seattle athletes. Even Jeremy Piven's making an appearance at this thing. Like, I don't know that he's playing. It's an appearance for him. Wouldn't I love to strike out Ari? I don't think I'd be pitching though, because that's the big thing is like, I've thrown out some first pitches at Rainier's games, just like you nailed the other day. But I haven't like played in the field in a long time. It's like, well, where can I do the least damage to my team? Like, is that right field? Because like at first base, you just got to catch at first base is harder than it looks.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Jeremy Piven's making the rounds in Seattle.
He is. Yeah. So it'll be cool to have him at that event. And, maybe get a free cameo or something. I don't know.
Yeah. And maybe he'll do some stand-up. That's why he's coming to town. There's a lot going on off the field, off the court, off the ice. I mixed it up this week in the order. But it's something that we talk about every week here on this show, Inside the Arena. And you can see Niko on the field, but right now we're going to talk about what's good, what's bad in the world of sports, what we do every week. It is called Four Corners. Niko, what's good?
Yeah, I want to start with Cal Raleigh, and a little bit differently than you would think. Obviously, the legend of Cal grows. Last week, he tied the record of Griffey for the most home runs before the All-Star break, and there's all these major league marks that are so attainable, even most American League home runs in history, so on and so forth. That's all special. But what I'm saying is positive this week. My favorite thing is when he went to Virginia Mason Franciscan Health, and we had a camera there. Now, for any pro athlete, just to go to the hospital is a big thing for them. These guys are insanely busy. I think that even us, folks like you and I that see these every day, their everyday lives, we're like, oh, wow, that's a lot. I still think there's so much more that we don't even see or even realize, right? And, so even just to show up is a big deal. Even just to show up and shake a couple hands, kiss a couple babies is a big deal. But yet, Cal, I went and looked at our awesome photographer, TK Johnson's file on this. Cal was there for over an hour. He spent probably on average about 15 minutes with each patient. They were adult patients that were just so thrilled to see Cal Raleigh. And that's the man he is. And that's what's positive about this. He's a great baseball player, but he's somehow even a better person. I'm just watching this video and it's so hard to condense it into a news story, right?
Yeah.
But you're watching this and, this one man who's battling cancer says, this is a tough fight for me. And Cal's like, I promise you, I'm going to be thinking about you, praying for you. I'm not going to forget you. Don't worry about that. I'm like, who does that? Like, it's Cal. And then, that same patient was like, yeah, they said Cal Raleigh was coming. I'm like, no, there's no way. Like, there's no way he can do it. There's going to be some guy from Tacoma. He doesn't have the time. And Cal's like, oh, I have the time. Like, it was just really cool to see. There was one patient, her name was Margaret. She was lamenting the big dumper nickname. Cal's like, well, it's not exactly how you draw it up. And that dry Cal Raleigh humor. So that was my favorite thing I saw. More than, some of the great moments the Mariners had. Even the Storm had some great moments, and kudos to them as well. But you know what? For me, it doesn't get better than Cal Raleigh spending that much time, not just visiting, but spending and investing that much time. And some folks that wanted to just live out a dream and talk baseball with them in a moment that's really tough in their personal lives.
Well, and just what a season he's having.
Oh,
Again, topping all catchers and voting. We'll start the All-Star game. We'll be in the home run derby. That video also making the rounds this week on social media of him talking about as an 8-year-old winning the
little dumper.
I mean, just what he has done off the field as well as on the field. And it's interesting the Mariners having 4 All-Stars and everybody 2 years ago is talking about Julio this and home run derby and the Mariners fans actually like online are kind of upset that Julio made the team.
Why would you be upset about that? Listen, not to go on a Niko rant here, but yes. I think this is what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Like, you can disagree with the decision, although I agree with it because I think he's been phenomenal defensively, and that's not something that practically at all shows up in a stat sheet. You can be upset with it, but why are you mad that one of your own has made your team, the Mariners, tied for the most All-Stars in the American League? They'd be tied overall if the Dodgers didn't have the legend pick in Clayton Kershaw, and it's the most they've had in 7 years. So why are we complaining about this? You can disagree with it, but Julio's building quite the resume. Yep. 3 and 4 years now.
Hasn't been the greatest year for Julio, but he is still the face of the franchise. But Cal is nipping at his heels right now, and I think it's in terms of the AL MVP. I think anybody objectively would look at it and say there's 2 people right now, and it's Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh that are 1 and 2, whichever way you want to split it.
That is just it, and it's it's one of those things where Judge will probably win New York City and all the intangibles, and at the moment batting around 360 and all that stuff. But I think what's not really looked at properly in that respect is how Cal calls and manages those games for that stellar rotation. Every one of those Mariners pitchers said, they're not nearly as effective without Cal calling that game for them. And I don't think that's something that enough people and voters will look at. And so that's probably how it'll go, unless Cal continues this torrid and historic pace to the point where he can't be denied.
Well, also positive this week, and it's our friends at the Seattle Storm, partners of KOMO TV. Not only have the ratings been better this year on TV for our Seattle Storm, but 3 members as well of the WNBA All-Star team, Nneka, Skylar, and Gabby.
They have to play against each other, which is kind of fun about that. Yeah, Gabby lands on Team Caitlin Clark, and Nafisha Collier's team gets Nneka and Sky. But and you read the same things I did. Outside Seattle, a lot of those national publications were kind of like down on the Storm. Well, what's the Storm going to be? But we saw it. We knew Sky was going to be better. We knew Nneka was Nneka, and we knew a full year of Gabby would have the impact that we've seen. I don't know if anybody really foresaw the Erica Wheeler effect, right? But it's been really, it's a testament to land 3 All-Stars, tied for the most. It's a testament to this team, tied for the most All-Stars. Really cool stuff.
Well, and also I think a vindication of what we saw a couple of years ago with the turnover on the squad and what they've done with free agency and supplementing with the draft. The team appears to be headed in the right direction.
No question about it. And I think this year, they're the type of team, they're certainly playoff caliber. I think they'll be in the playoffs. If they get hot at the right time, there's no telling how far this team could go in the postseason.
Well, what don't you like?
Oh boy. It's funny. I came into this show saying I didn't like that Nneka and Sky had to go against Gabby. But actually, the more I've thought about it, just in the last 5 seconds, I kind of like it. So my negative isn't really a negative anymore. If I had to pick something, I didn't like how long the umpires last Tuesday in that rain delay in the Mariners game they waited till the Mariners had runners on the corner and JP, and then we call it because it was unbearable.
Yeah.
And it made for a longer delay for Logan Gilbert, who went back out there and was arguably having his best outing of the season. And then he ends up getting shelled on the other side of what for Logan, it was the delay for the game was 35 minutes. For Logan, it was probably closer to 50. And it ruined a great outing. And listen, when you lose, when the other team puts up double figure runs, you hate to point to one thing, but baseball is that kind of momentum, floodgates open kind of sport. So that would be, since I ended up coming around to my negative to be thinking it's a positive, I'm going to go with the umpires in Major League Baseball in that opening game with the Mariners and Yankees a few days ago.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Well played.
Thank you.
The thing I would say that's negative, and also we'll spin this into a positive, is I hate what the Vegas Golden Knights are doing down in Vegas in terms of improving their squad, getting Mitch Marner in that sign and trade with Toronto. The rich get richer. That is going to be a starting lineup, a first line that's going to be tough to compete with if you're a Seattle Kraken fan. On the flip side, I think the Kraken are approaching this the right way. If they weren't going to get Mitch Marner, they haven't traded for a dog, as I like to say, in terms of first line winger. They've got some cap space, as a lot of teams do right now, because the salary cap went up. That's off the ice news that maybe a lot of people haven't been paying attention to, which makes it tougher when you're trying to trade. Sometimes the cap space is leverage. They've got a lot of cap space. They also have to sign a couple of restricted free agents. Taco, great name, and I think a lot of people would like him to be re-signed. He's going to come at a cost. But they've been very cautious in going out and trading for that frontline scorer. You just look at what Vegas has done, and they're always going to be compared to Vegas and the Golden Knights as an expansion franchise. And I know they don't like that over there, and it's unfair, and it's an unfair comparison because Vegas had a different set of expansion draft rules. But boy, Vegas is just they just keep loading up. They keep taking big swings, and they've got a heck of a starting lineup there.
Yeah, and it is something to lament because fairly or unfairly, that's how these teams will be compared. I do think the Kraken is loading up, like you said, for even next year.
Yeah,
to make that big swing.
Bigger free agent class.
That's just it. Yeah, but you'd like to see what they can do in the trade market. They still have a boatload of picks in 26 and 27 that they can move, and I believe 7 first and second rounders. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 7. So it's you. But in the meantime, you're talking about missing the postseason back-to-back years. At the moment, have they done enough to get back there? I mean, that's remains to be seen. But you'd like to see one big swing, as big as you can from the trade market. And Mason Marchment's a nice addition, right? You like to see some of these things, but Lindgren's a good signing. But I'd like to see if they can, like you said, get maybe it's not that 100-point dog that we were hoping for back in May, but maybe it's somebody that just adds a little more scoring punch that can be top line guy potentially.
We've talked about it on the show. Jason Robertson was a name down in Dallas that some Kraken fans were kicking around on X saying, they have some salary cap issues down there and the Kraken have some picks. It's starting to sound more and more like Dallas has moved around some salary to try and keep him in the fold. He'd be a guy who you'd have starting on your wing, but he's also an RFA. So in terms of they're in the same situation as the Kraken with some space, they want to sign their own guys. They did that with Ty already. We'll see where they go. But boy, in terms of a negative this week, it's just Vegas continues to load up.
They do. And that is a negative.
Yeah.
But it's not anything the Kraken has done wrong. It's just like, oh, great. If only those 2017 rules were in place in 2021, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Vegas, hey, that's a transition, folks. Supersonic Minute.
Let's do it.
So we know that the NBA Board of Governors, Adam Silver, has already signaled that there will be a meeting of the Board of Governors, the owners in Vegas in July, and they will talk about expansion. There isn't a whole lot of news in advance of that. David Aldridge, our friends at Iconic Sonics,
right,
the longtime NBA beat writer who's goes back decades. He's a Hall of Famer in the NBA. He said through Iconic Sonics that Seattle is 1A and Vegas is 1B in terms of where the owners are.
Hey, we got one on Vegas.
Yes.
As we should have in that situation.
And that a lot of people want to go back to Seattle. He's called Seattle one of his favorite cities when he was covering the NBA full time, and that he loved coming to the city, and a lot of owners and a lot of players do. Just think of the starting lineup you could have of just Seattle-born players in the NBA. We saw the big signing this week as well.
Paolo. Yeah. Paolo. About 5 years, $239 million.
Yeah, I think some people were like, "Hey, maybe he can hold out long enough to be like the first Sonic." But
you gotta take
I think that's
money.
a lot of money.
No, you got to take that. Yeah, I'm still holding on. I hope Durant is still playing when they come back, which is on the moment. But it would be like a full circle. It would be such a full circle moment. And even if he's retired, it'd be great to see him come back in some sort of coaching, advisory, something role. And he would love to.
Yeah,
because he's talked about it so much. But yeah. we wait and we see. And like you said, I mean, even present day, think about the Seattle guys in the league. And like initially when you say that, you think about, legends of the past, whether it's more recent like Jamal or whether it's distant past, you say Doug Christie or somebody like that. But you look at the current landscape, it's like, wow, a lot of guys.
Yeah, I mean, Jamal, I would hope, just based on what he has done in this community, that he has a role at some point in time.
So.
He's gonna be on the TV side, though. For now, the other interesting piece, and people look at this kind of stuff in the weeds, is LeBron signed up for at least another year with the Lakers. He's been rumored to be involved in a potential Vegas team. How does that factor in? And the fact that he's extending his career, just waiting for a franchise to get awarded. These are all things that people are paying attention to off the court.
I don't think there's a correlation there. I think it's, they had a kind of a disappointing season from the, getting out early. He's got a full year coming up with Luka.
And you want to pay me over $50 million.
I mean, why not? And listen, I'm the same age as LeBron. He's a few months older than me. So as long as he's still playing, I feel good about life.
But you're in great shape. You're in great shape.
Oh, yeah. Better
just
than
like
him.
LeBron. That's why you're in the All-Star Celebrity Softball Classic.
I like what you did there.
Yeah.
Can I bunt in this thing?
You tell me.
I might miss the bunt on a softball.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The key is just don't embarrass yourself.
Listen, it's yes, don't embarrass yourself. Have a good time. Understand it's for charity. There's a lot of people out there that are, going to be hitting home runs. They're athletes, NFL, former MLB, Gerald Smiley. We both know Gerald. He's out there. So it's going to be really fun to be a part of it. I'm honored to be a part of it. Tyra Majors, our KOMO teammate, is out there too. Hopefully it's not a WNBA situation where we're on other teams. But and I hope I'm on Jaxon Smith-Njigba's team. But then it's like, well, what if you mess up and let JSN down? That's going to be a tough thing. But at any rate, let's get to what you're trying to get me to talk about here, which is this All-Star game, what it benefits down in Cheney Stadium this coming Saturday, July 12th. A lot of great stuff involved here. Let's get to the full conversation. Everything you need to know, where it came from, how exciting this is going to be, and then the star power of this game, those athletes as well. We'll get to you right after the break.
Something big is happening at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, and it's smoke-free. Their brand new non-smoking gaming floor is now open. Experience a whole new atmosphere that's completely smoke-free. More comfort, same excitement. Seattle's closest is now Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Book now and experience the luxury that awaits at Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel. Book now for an unforgettable summer experience. Visit snowcasino.com.
Well, Drew Dambreville joining us here. And Drew, you need no introduction. You've been on Inside the Arena, so you're a return guest here. First of all, thank you for joining us. And obviously, in the past, we were talking Seawolves, and we'll have you on again, undoubtedly. And maybe a couple of you guys to talk about Seawolves as we get closer. But Today we're talking about Seattle All-Star Classic here. And first of all, for anybody who may be unfamiliar, just take us through the event, how it started. And it seems like it grows every year.
Yeah. So Seattle All-Star Classic was something, I call it a pet project that I came up with during COVID. If you recall back in 2011, 2012, Richard Sherman had a huge celebrity softball game. I was fortunate to be part of the team that built and grew that. During COVID, sitting around, I have an events background. So there was obviously no events or anything going on. And it was hey, what do we do? Started buying URLs, trying out different things, and came up let's bring back a celebrity softball game. One of my first calls was to Kerry Carter, my business partner, who brought me in on the Richard Sherman deal many moons ago. So we reunited. Had a quick convo with him. He said he was in, and we formed this union. So Seattle All-Star Classic is a celebrity softball game. Every year we partner with a new person, typically a Seattle athlete. We're blessed to have DK Metcalf as a host, Geno Smith as a host. Last year and returning this year, we have Jaxon Smith-Njigba from the Seattle Seahawks as our host. Our goal with the event is we partner with Cheney Stadium in Tacoma, the MLB minor league stadium there. And our goal was to bridge that gap both in underserved communities and just nonprofits, smaller nonprofits. So the event allows us to bring celebrities, both athletes, local celebrities, regional celebrities, current retired athletes down to that area. We play a celebrity softball game, and we partner with, like right now, I think we're sitting at about 8 nonprofits that will all be able to benefit from this event.
And that's just it. It's everybody having fun with softball. It's for people who attend and buy tickets. It's seeing athletes and people in the community familiar with, and we're helping out some amazing causes here. I mean, how special is that? You mentioned this; it's a pet project, yet you're helping out countless people with the nonprofits that's benefits.
Yeah, it's the power of sports, right? Anyone around sports, you see it as a anchor. If you've been an athlete on any level, sports itself, it brings people together, regardless of what your political affiliation is, whatever is happening away from that, it's ignored. When you're all in the stadium, there's a unique power to sports. So harnessing that power for, I always say, for good is what we do.
Absolutely. And you're wearing the jersey. We got to check that out, right?
Oh, yeah. This is one of the team jerseys from this year. I'll give you a quick preview. Little
Wow.
swag. The players. So we'll have 2 teams. You know, Jaxon has his team, and then we have the Legends team, usually Lofa Tatupu, who's been a phenomenal friend and partner, former MVP of the game as well. Will lead another team. So typically it's the young guns versus the legends, right? Rumor has it you're suiting up this year.
That was the next thing I was going to say is, you know, you've got this athletic thing with JSN, Lofa, and then you go to Niko. Drew, you're a smart businessman, but I'm not sure you're going to get a lot of RBI out of me in this thing.
You'd be surprised. You know, some of our event highlights, we had, obviously security reasons, we had Tacoma PD. We always have a couple down in the dugout area. And one of the guys looked at us, he says, you know, I play softball. We're like, really? Yeah. Took his vest off, gun built and all, went out and cracked one, hit a home run mid-game.
Crazy.
So anything can happen. Anything can
I think
happen.
I remember watching that, actually. That was great.
Yeah. So I think we put a bat in your hand, you're going to surprise a few people, even yourself.
Well, I hope you're right. But, you know, it's just an honor to be a part of this. I really appreciate you having me. Tyra Majors from our team at KOMO. We're excited that she's going to be there as well. And again, what a unique thing. You know, we talk about fans being able to go. If you can, let's do a little house cleaning here before we move on. Where can people, you know, find tickets? Where can they? Obviously, it's a Cheney Stadium, and it's more than just the game. There's other events going on. So let's take me through the day and how people can get there on Saturday.
Okay, yeah. So event information can be found at SeattleAllStarClassic.com. And we have all information there, suites, everything available. The event, I believe doors open at 1 p.m. We have a home run derby. We start the day off with a home run derby. All the players participate, or majority of them. So you have an opportunity to be part of the home run derby and crack one out. We also bring in 2 ringers. We have there are some professional softball players out there, both male and female, that we put one in each dugout, let you guys, you know, we call them your coaches per se, right? But allows you guys to have that ringer or someone to give you guys advice, and they'll participate in a home run derby as well. And you watch those guys. So we bring in the field for you guys so that you're not having to hit it out the full ballpark. But you'll notice when the pros get up, they'll crack that thing straight over the wall, and it's pretty impressive. So home run derby turns into the main game. Was it 5 innings? Or 7 innings. It goes quick, right? It's fun. We highlight various nonprofits and partners each inning. So you know, we have the mascots out there. It's very family friendly. The kids post-match, we'll bring kids out on the pitch to get autographs. It's again eliminating those barriers that you have in most sports and giving fans, nonprofits, and our partners access that they would typically have to pay, you know, hundreds of thousands for.
Well, then that's just it. I mean, we talked about, you know, JSN and Lofa. I mean, this is a star-studded roster. Take me through that. You got a special appearance coming up in this thing as well, and again, it's all part of a family fun day. But this is a great roster.
Yeah, we do. For you Entourage fans, Mr. Piven, Jeremy Piven, will be in the house as well. But we've Marcus Trufant, Seattle great. I have a few surprises. I have one or two people that are like, we're going to try and make it down, but I'm not going to announce them. It'll be a game day type thing. But fun, from Kid Sensation. He's a Seattle icon back with Sir Mix-a-Lot. I'm drawing blanks. I know JSN gave us a list of some other NFL players that were flying in for the game. But you can visit our Instagram and website at, again, Seattle All-Star Classic at the .com if you're online, obviously. And everything is on there. Kickoff, again, the doors open at 1. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Weather's going to be great.
Oh, it is. It's always, and I can't thank you enough for having me. It's just, it's going to be a special day. And Drew, if I may, we appreciate everything you do in the community as well. And I'd like to ask you a little bit about that. I mean, I feel like everywhere we turn, whether it's Chris or I, we see, oh, hey, Drew's doing something else to help the community. All while, doing your thing with the Seawolves as well. Take me through, everything you've got going on as far as, being just such a shining light in our community and helping, whether it's in the sports world or whether it's just out in the community. There's so much you have going on. I would love the listeners, the viewers to be able to, just to get a little bit of insight into that.
I appreciate it. So in my adult world, I serve as the chief operating officer for the Seattle Seawolves Rugby Club. And I don't have a background in rugby, but I have a background in sports and entertainment and figuring out how to get bodies in places. And when it comes to sports, everything starts with youth, right? In underserved community, sports serves as a pathway to get out. You'll hear it all the time. For myself, I'm first generation born to two parents that came here from Haiti. My pathway out in New Jersey, my circumstance was a full ride scholarship to UW as an athlete, right? That's what got me to Seattle. So I understand that. I've lived that. So my passion and dedication to community is making sure wherever I am in my career that we're doing something to provide an opportunity for kids in those communities to understand whether it's on a field or on the pitch or away from it. I've had speaking engagements with Microsoft or Amazon as well, where it's, speaking to young kids about sports, but it's not, there's just as many jobs off on the other side of the ball, off the field. So if you want to get into marketing or you want to get into, if you're in events and you want to become an event coordinator or you want to go to law school or whatever, and you're passionate about sports, there's just so many jobs on that side that people don't think about. They think they have to be an athlete to be in sports. Like if you love sports, there's a lot of things, communications, becoming a reporter, all these things that you can do, right? So I think my tie to being in a community is I had a very instrumental person in my life through my teens, one of my coaches that steered me right. I'm talking about stand up in your face, I'm about to knock you out, you need to go to practice type thing to keep me from making dumb decisions. And the only thing he asked was that I pay it forward. His name was Bruce Berry. He's currently, I think he was the track coach at Rutgers Newark, and I think he's one of the community colleges back home now in Jersey. But that guy is one of the reasons I'm here. And the only thing he asks is that I pay it forward. So I always make sure no matter where I march in life, what I'm doing, I always make time to either donate time to the community or create opportunities so that people coming behind me have the same opportunity I had.
Well, that's great. I appreciate you sharing that. And that's the best part, is just paying it forward, right? And somebody that you're helping inevitably right now is going to pay that to the next generation as well. And I appreciate you sharing that, Drew. And we got to talk a little Seawolves here from the perspective that a couple things I want to talk about. First of all, an exciting finish to get into the postseason. It felt like a few of those matches down the stretch, you were getting tries in like the last 5 to 10 seconds, whatever it might have been. Starfire was rocking. Again, you mentioned like your background wasn't in rugby, it's in sports, but it doesn't matter. When you're there, it's so exciting. It's a great thing to be a part of. Just what has the Seawolves journey been like for you, and how fun was this season, especially in the home stretch there?
One, I have an amazing ownership group. They brought me in and they gave me the opportunity to just be me, where a lot of people are, especially if you're coming at a senior level, This is the system, fit in the system type thing. I came into a situation. It was like, here, this is what we have. What can we fix? What? And they allowed me to just have fun. So for us, the Seawolves, the product on the field has always been amazing. The team has been around for 8 seasons. We've played in 4 championships. We won 2 of those 4, right? This year is disappointing based on our standards. Losing in the first round is not where we want to be. We always feel ourselves playing in a championship. So we had a tough start to the season, but major credit to Coach Clarkey and the team. They turned it around. We started off 1-4 at one point to, again, making a push into the playoffs and getting into the playoffs. Again, turnaround of the decade, in my opinion. It was amazing. But again, you get to rugby, it's a different feel. You've been to a match. Our fans are different. They're passionate. A lot of them are expats that grew up playing this sport. They're passionate about growing this sport in America. So coming into that environment for me is like, all right, I have supportive ownership. I have an amazing product on the field, and I have an amazing fan base. What's missing? And for us, it was, how do we take that atmosphere and just improve upon it? So we invested in our game day presentation. We invested in, things like the food trucks we have and the Fan Fest experience, and even our AV. We play at Starfire. It's an older stadium, great partner, but we're like, we want to upgrade some things. So we just did what we thought we listened to what our fans complained about, I guess, and we made sure to address those things as best as we could, and the results were phenomenal.
Yeah, I was just going to say, the growth I saw in just my, this past season, it was exponential. Not just as far, like, for everything you just said. The product was one thing, of course, and exciting, but like the presentation and all that. Given that growth that we saw in 1 year, what do you envision maybe the future of the Seawolves? Because it feels like this is a sport on the rise in this country, right? And so, as you look forward to the future of the Seawolves, what are some goals? What are some things that you'd like to achieve as we move forward?
I think we're in a very great spot. For sports fans, MLS soccer was birthed on the tail end. It was part of the legacy program of the '94 FIFA World Cup. Right. Right now, the U.S. is bidding for Rugby World Cup to be here in 2031, 2033. So men and women's respectively, we've had that meeting with the delegation that came and toured Lumen Field. I'm not in that final decision-making process. I'm just hoping we land those games. But the Rugby World Cup coming here is it will be a huge momentum shift for rugby in the U.S. Casual fans will know about it. So right now, we're laying the groundwork for that, right? So that, for me, it's comedic off-season this year is creating community programs and tackling the grassroots and getting rugby balls in the hands of young youth, so they can at least just identify what the sport is and know how to throw a ball properly at the basics. Just that kind of fun will help us grow our base to where in 5 years Rugby World Cup hits, and on the tail end of that, I think that's where you'll see rugby truly explode in the U.S.
No question about it. Well, Drew, it was great to have you as a repeat guest, and I promise this won't be your last time on Inside the Arena. And again, we'll talk about the questionable decision to have me on the field on Saturday. No, I'm just kidding.
I think you're going to be a rock star. I see what you're doing right now. You're trying to play yourself down. I see what you're doing. I got you.
Yeah, you always set the bar low, and then if you don't perform, then I told you guys. But then if you hit it, you do something good, like that's how it was. I did that. I did a first pitch at the Rainiers game like that. I'm like, I don't know, and then it was good.
Did you get it over the plate? One hopper or straight over the plate?
Oh yeah, I'll text you that when we're done. But yeah,
okay.
It was good.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
right, so you're familiar with the park. You've already done the first pitcher, so you're familiar with the park. I see what you're doing there. You're coming in. I'm calling it right now, everybody. He's gonna hit. I got a single. He's going to drive in at least one run and have a double. I'll give you a double.
Oh, okay.
Drive in one. I'll give you that.
You're banking on a lot of speed that is not there for the double, though. Hey, regardless, man, I'm so excited to be there. I hope to be there in years to come as well. And as I mentioned a moment ago, Drew, we appreciate everything you do in the sports community and in the community in general here in the Pacific Northwest. Thanks for your time on this. And again, I promise you'll be on again. No question about it.
Thank you for having me, and look forward to seeing you guys. And again, if you're interested in coming out Saturday, tickets are still available. Visit SeattleAllStarClassic.com/tickets. Take you straight to the page. We'll be out there. We'll be having fun and music, DJs, food, softball.
Sounds like a plan to me.
All right.
Again, don't embarrass yourself.
No, I won't. And I want to point out SeattleAllStarClassic.com. That's the website. Or if you do that, SeattleAllStarClassic.com/tickets. That's how you can get your tickets for this game. It's going to be a great time. And listen, you know this. We've both been down there. You grew up with it. Cheney Stadium, special place. So just to even be on that field is going to be a good day. And even if it's not quite level they see with the Rainiers on a regular basis, it's going to be a fun time for everybody there.
And Drew has done a great job already with the Seawolves and made some changes there, and he has a track record now of putting on great events.
No question about it. And can't wait for next year with the Seawolves as well. You saw, they got back to the playoffs. They had some really exciting matches. You saw the ambiance. You were at that match too, and I've seen it before. And it's just, great things going on. Shout out to our buddy Drew.
Well, that's going to do it for this week.
Shout out to our buddy.
Oh, David Lee.
There you go.
You've been listening to Inside the Arena with Niko and Chris. Please subscribe on your favorite platform. Until next time.
Inside the Arena was presented by Snoqualmie Casino and Hotel, Seattle's closest sports book.